Okay, so welcome to another video about modding, morrowing, and what I want to do is showing how to edit and update and correctly um, use mesh and other tool to update a mod. And what I want to do is read my beta comment file, which I use to take notes about things to change when I play. And if you have seen my latest Let's Play video, I took this note because I found this slaughterfish which was um, floating above the terrain in near the moat house mod. That's because the terminal level has been moved up, and so the fish was spawning behind that point where there were only water before in the standard game. And so what happens when a creature or NPC is spawned in the game is warped, is moved automatically by the engine to the terrain level, floor level. And so what happens is that something like some fish or some creature meant to be spawned in water is spawned instead on the terrain level, at the terrain level. So what I want to do is mainly edit the mod to fix these things, and probably that means moving that points, that spawn points, or deleting them if needed. And as this is going to change the references in the edited mod, this means also it's a good occasion to show how to use mesh updaters to correctly have mod and saves updated so to not cause problems in your games. Anyway, so this is what I want to do. Move spawning points conflicting with the moat house mod in this cell, the Ascadian Isles region, this cell. So you can see this is my beta comment file text, which is used just typing BC in the console, and then if you have something clicked in the console, automatically you have these messages wrote to this text file, so it's easier in a second moment to find these nodes. And you have the object identifier. Let me show you, for instance, this one. And you have the region, the exterior cell coordinates, and the wall coordinates. So it's much easier, and your message, what you typed in the console. So it's much easier to debug things, to find your nodes in a moment where you can actually edit your mods and fix things. Okay, so of this message I want to keep essentially these coordinates of the cell because it's easier to find and edit it this way. So I will just copy this text, and then I go and simply open the construction set and load the mod. But before doing this, I must say one thing. My suggestion is never ever edit directly your mod. Always edit a copy, and then we see why and how to do it. So I want to fix this mod, which is, well, I will start an essential tool for modding your own, which is mesh. You can use the Python script 1 version, the source script version, if you are able to have your proper Python installed, or you can use the um, executable versions made by other people like Jacobi or Maker. I suggest you use the Maker one because it's the one working with less problems. I'm still using, in this case, the source version because I have changed it for something. But anyway, what I'm using now are functions which are present in every mesh version. So what I want to do is edit this Corobal and Arc and Mothouse mod, where I have matched the three mods, the Corobal by the Corobal team, and the Ascadian Rose Cottage by Koran and Gay Citrus, and the Mothouse mod. And this is a good example of mod where merging things is good because they are three mods that are conflicting in the same exterior cells. So merging them together, you can fix the conflicts and spare some mod slots in your loading order. But I want to edit this because I found these spawning points to fix, and so what I am going to do is create a copy of this mod which I want to edit, because it's much better to edit always edit a copy and then use mesh and other tools and fix things so you can do it without compromising your mod and especially your saves using that mod. So first thing first, make a copy of the mod. The easier way to do is it from mesh. You just right click the mod you want to edit and choose file, duplicate, and you can give the mod any name you want, but I suggest you just keep the name proposed by default by mesh, which is adding a copy suffix at the end of the mod name. So I will just call this copy like suggested, Corobal plus ARC plus Mothouse copy, and I will save it. So I have one already, so it is asking me if I want to overwrite it. I will say yes. And so we have another mod here, which is not in my loading list, but it is the exact copy of the mod. So I want to edit this one, this new one. So I will just find it in my list of mods, and as you can see, it's not in my loading list because I just created it now, but it has important properties. First one is it is an exact copy bit by bit of the original mod. So I will edit this one. It is like editing the original one. Second important property, it has the same timestamp, the same date, and this is important because it will be loaded in exact the same position, and it is important because mesh has the behavior of putting a red background on modes which are loaded and that have the same timestamp. This is to alert you that there could be a possible conflict between these modes. But we will use this feature of mesh to make easier to find these modes we are editing in such a long loading list. So what I want to do is, with this copy of the mod, just add it to my loading list. This way it will be loaded just after or before, doesn't matter, the original one, because they have the same timestamp. And this is much important for my job that I want to do with this mod. They will be easier to find because there's this red background. That means they have the same timestamp. And why this is important? While I can just scroll easily and maybe find them without the background, well, it is already easier here in this window with this red background, but we will see it's even more important in other lists that we will use to update the mod. So here it is, my new copy of the mod, and this is the new one, the one I want to edit, not this one. The old one, the original one, I will not touch this one for now. This is the one I want to edit. So now that I have it with the proper timestamp, I will just load this one in the construction set. So let's go and look for it. So it should be, as you can see here, because they have the same timestamp, they should be one after the other. And I want to edit the new one, the copy. So just select it, set as active file. We take a look at the parent masters, and they are the three standard Bethesda masters. This is an important thing to do because the construction set is able to automatically include these three masters. So you could just click this one without setting these things, and the construction set will load everything needed. But this is true only for these three masters and eventually another master. But there are cases where you have 5 masters. For instance, the case of the Tamriel rebuilt mods, where you have, for instance, tr_data and tr_mainland as masters. For instance, this one, and you have another mod depending on this, like my water life for Tamriel rebuilt, or the how is it called? Tamriel preview. Let me check it. I can find one. Oh, for instance, this one. You see, this one is depending on a lot of masters, because it depends on Bethesda masters, Tamriel data master, TR mainland, Tribuna, which these three are the standard Bethesda, but there are these masters and this one. So what happens if I don't specify exactly what the masters are and try to load this mode. For instance, oh, this one, it's the same thing. Okay, so I will just set it as active and I will not select the other masters because, hey, the construction set is loading them automatically. As you can see what happens, the construction set is crashing. That's why I did not specify the masters in an explicit way. So remember this, if the construction set is crashing while you are trying to editing your mod, it may be because you did not specify the multiple masters of the mod. If there are more than 4 masters, it is probably the reason why your construction set is crashing while trying to load the mod. Anyway, I will close this detail and I will just load my mod, the one which I want to edit. So let's get this active file, the Corbal plus Motors copy. It is using the free standard Bethesda master, so there's no problem of construction set crashing. So I will just verify that's the active file and load it. Now, usual errors due to having Tribunal and blah blah expansions. That's something Bethesda did not do properly. And I will open my beta comment just to verify that I have the proper coordinates of the cell I'm interested in and copy it. And then one important thing. I'm going to edit the mod. I did not do this personally, so I did not place everything. And I don't know if the modder or the modders did follow a grid snap while placing things, which I usually do or often people do, but especially with all mods, this is not always the case. So the first thing I suggest you do if you want to edit a mod is to remove your from your preferences in the construction set, remove the grid snap and angle snap. Well, maybe angle snap is not so bad, but if you want to avoid changing things without really wanting to change them, remove this snapping, because if you don't remove the grid snap, angle snap, if you just select something in the construction set, exterior or interior view, you risk to change the coordinates of that thing, because with grid snapping they are automatically rounded to integer numbers. They are no more floating numbers. So remove that thing if you want to edit a mod. So we done this, and I want to go to that cell. I could search for it here, but the best way to find an exterior cell, if you have the coordinates, is to go and use the world go to cell menu option you just paste or write the two coordinates, the x and y coordinates, which is latitude and longitude coordinates, the cell numbers here, and click OK, and the construction set will open the proper cell that you want to edit. So we are here, this is the mold house, and as you can see, the cell is the right one. Another thing that I suggest is to enable the drawing on the window, in the exterior windows of the cell borders, which will make easier to understand exactly what cell you're editing and to find things. So I will press the B key and enable it. You can find it probably in the view menu. As you can see, there are a lot of keys, but there is not this one. It's the B key. You can toggle the display of cell borders. And in the game console, it is TB command, toggle borders. And in the construction set is simply the B key. Anyway, this is where I've seen this this floating fish. So what I want to do is look in this cell for the spawning points and see if they are correctly placed. So you could look and zoom and try to find things in a visual way, but the less things you touch, the better. So what I'm going to do is just look for things here. You see things changed have a suffix with this multiply sign. And to find things, it is often easier to sort using the header column here. So I will look for the type of thing that is spawning this fish, and they are called leveled creature. So as you can see, I have a limited number of leveled creature, and the good thing about the construction set is that you can click here in things and automatically go to the object. And so here is one, but this is okay because it's underwater and I don't need to change this one, so I can just click each of them in the cell and find the one giving problem. And here it is, because as you can see in the original game this probably was underwater, but now that the terrain has been edited, it is spawning under the terrain level. So what the engine does is automatically warping what the creature over the terrain level. So what happens is you probably have some fish or something meant to be deep in the water floating here, and in my case it was even a kind of fish added by another mod and place it there by the standard level list. So what I'm going to do is move or delete this spawning point so it is in a proper position. In this case I will just try and move it possibly in the same cell in a position where it is natural, so I will try and move it here where the still water. So I will just get it and zoom a little and drag it out. And it is still a little right. This could be a good place. Oh, there are not many nearby, so I think that could do. So it's not important exactly where I put it, but try to be in the same cell, so the game is able to move it without adding much new record and so on. So I just did this small change, and believe me, this small change is enough to be able to change to cause problems in your saves, and so it's better to apply a procedure with mesh that we will see when I have ended my editing. Anyway, this is the first reason why I started editing this mod. But as I am editing it, we could as well look for other problems like this one in the remaining cells edited by the mod. So we will do the same thing for the nearby cells. And this time to go to a cell, I will just click something to center on it. And that's why I did remove the grid snapping option from the construction set before starting editing, because this way I'm not touching the coordinates of things if they are not integer. So for instance, let's see, can find one. Oh, it seems models have been well behaved. Did not change this thing. Okay, so now I am in this different cell, which is 1 minus 5, and I want to do the same thing. I will sort by item type and look for the level of creature items and double click it to see where they are spawning, and that's okay. And this one, well, we are out of water, but the level of creature is X Ascanian Isle, so that's good. And this one is a slaughterfish and is in the water, so that's good. No real problems. And I will take a look at what is added by the mod, changes by the mod. Specifically, which are marked by this star at the end of the identifier. And so this cell seems to be also okay. Let me check this one. Oh, you can also take a look from behind. It's easier to see things this way. So for instance, I will click here and then press the T key to center on the view. And now I am on cell 0 minus 5 and we'll do the same things. Look for level creatures and see where they are spawning. Oh, and this is strange. As you can see, we have one which is spawning under this imperial ruins, so it does not make sense to have it here. Probably this one is added by the mod. It's some kind of error of the mod, which copied these meshes from some other exterior sites which had this creature spawning. So this thing is not doing anything good here. So we could actually delete it. Because it is probably added by the mod, not by the original modeling. It's a cave creature, so probably a small glitch in the original mod, so I will just delete it. And then look for other problems. So we already did this cell. Oh, maybe this one we did not. This one I'm sure already did. This one already did. This one already did, so I will just center on this one and look for level creatures. Result and click, 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 click. Oh, found another one. And this one is probably not for the mod house mod, but the other mod merged, which is the Coral Island, which is placing this new estate here. It's called Maximal Estate, I think. It's adding a war dazog here, a domesticated war dazog, and increasing terrain level here. Probably it just put this creature in a bad position under terrain level. So what happens here is the same thing which was happening with the sea creature. This spawning creature under the terrain will be warped here, probably at turning level, but it will still be behind the wall, so it's better to move it. And I will try to move it in the same cell. So luckily it is in the 06 cell, as you can see. So I can just move it here, for instance, or here, but that's no problem. So we just drag it and put it down a little, and I think we are done because there are no more. Right, so we have edited several cells, we have moved things, we have deleted one thing. I changes our mods. Remember, I'm working with a copy of the mod. And so I will say, so we have a copy. Making these changes, we have changed the order at which the construction set is saving these references to object. We are no more compatible with previous saves using this mode. That's why I have changed a copy, because doing a copy we can use this feature of mesh, which is able to upgrade, update our mods, comparing the previous mod version with the new mod version and remapping properly the references in cells, so your mod and your saved game are not making confusion and placing the wrong thing, moving the wrong things, and causing problem in your game. So how can we do this? Well, first step is always to properly clean your mod from things that the construction set or other tools could introduce while saving. You know, there's no perfect tool for editing things in Morrowind, because the original construction set often saves things that it should not save, like repeated cell lights and empty cells and so on. And other tools that you could use to edit things, like the enchanting editor or MW edit, often they are not working 100% with everything like CS. So my opinion about it is always save from the construction set if you can. So except in cases when you are doing just a scripting mod using expanded Morrowind scripting commands, don't use the MW edit, don't use the enchanted editor, save your mod from the construction set when you're done. If you did edit it without a tool, then load it in construction set and resave it from construction set. This is the best way to save everything of your mod in a proper way. Then you must clean the mod from garbage that the construction set is adding to your mod anyway. So it's a little strange, but when you do this thing one or two times, you will see that it's very fast and easy to do. So I have edited my mod with the construction set. I have saved it. Now I want to clean it. Oh, I see a lot of people still cleaning mods by hand using low-level tool like this aim, like enchanting editor. Well, I think 99% of needing cleaning can be done automatically using two tools that we have available after all these years of Morrowind modding, thanks to mostly John Moon Sugar and the author of this tool, which I don't remember. Anyway, two tools to do the job automatically. First one is test-free command, which is a powerful line tool, command line tool, and then test tool. So first we will use test-free command. There are many ways to use it. There's a version of mesh. The one, for instance, done by Michael, and the one done by Jacobi have it incorporated, I think, from the right-click menu, like an option that you can use. Test-free command, clean selected. Oh, one important thing, your test-free command must be usually in the data files folder. You have to have it here. Oh, let me look for it. I'm using to manage my files. I'm using this double commander open source program. You can use this one. You can use a total commander. Any file manager you like. You can even use the Windows standard file manager, but I really suggest you use some orthodox file manager. There are more than one available, because having the two windows when you can compare files with different folders, look for files containing, search for file containing some particular strings like texture, like meshes and so on, is really very useful when you are modding Morrowind or any other job which requires you to compare different files and so on. So my suggestion is get total commander or get double commander and use them, because you will spare a lot of time and things will be easier. Anyway, I'm looking for the test-free command, and here it is. You see, I have this. I must have test-free command.exe in my data files folder. Then I can use some mesh version and use it automatically from the mod name. So what I'm going to do is click my edited mod, which is Corobal Arc Montage copy. Remember, it's a copy we have just edited, not the original one. So I will click it and select test-free command, clean selected. And so it should appear this window, and currently cleaning, and it should output here a log which is showing what did exactly what has been cleaned by test-free command. And this is the first clean we will do automatically. So as you can see, what test-free command did is removing some cell ambient and light things. But most people which suggest you to use test-free command say, okay, test-free command is cleaning things, job done. I say no, because it's always better to clean also using test tool. Test tool is another automatic tool for cleaning, and you can find it looking for it, for instance. Well, I think a good way to look for them is writing in Google. Morrowind, and here, for instance, the simulation lab. You should be able to find a link to download it if you have not it already in your. Let me check. Okay, so somewhere there must be a download link. Oh, okay, here it is. And you can find it in the Morrowind modding Easter, but you can just Google it. It's a matter of 2 clicks. Anyway, important thing with test tool by Ghost Wheel, by the way, you can download it, and important thing you like the test-free command.exe must be in your data files folder, test tool must be one level upper. It must be in your Morrowind folder. So where you have Morrowind.exe, where you have MGI guy, for instance, Morrowind, and test tool. This is the right folder to put test tool in. So I look for it, and here it is. So I will run it. I can double click the executable or make a shortcut anywhere. Doesn't matter. I will run it. If you have more than one location, but usually test tool will ask you if this is the correct folder where it can find your Morrowind configuration, which is a file called morrowind.ini. So do you want to use this folder instead of registry setting? And you will answer yes. So this is Open Test Plugin Tool. What we want to do, first thing first, never use this button, because this button is cleaning all your mods, but it is also doing some things that are not 100% safe, so it is just better to not use it. Having said that, this is the one thing that you that test tool can do that is causing problem. Other things are perfectly safe if you do them using your brain. So we have different options to clean the mods. We have clean and clean, but save results in a clean subfolder. Well, you can use this one if you are doing some experiment or if you are not confident with it, but I just suggest you select this option, clean, and then execute, and test tool will automatically ask you if you want to visit the option dialog, and you will say yes. And here we have some options we can set. My suggestion is keep everything not checked except the first two options that are don't change plugin file names, because if you don't check this one, test tool will add a clean prefix to your mod name, but we don't want to change the mod name. We don't need it. We are sure we will do a great job cleaning without needing to change the mod name. So check this one, and also check retain file time when cleaning. It is not strictly necessary because we have already mesh set to keep the timestamp of the mods usually, because as you can see, this is an option you set right clicking the header of the mods tab in mesh, and it usually must be set to keep your loading order even if you edit mods. So this is usually already checked, but test tool is also asking you if you want to change it or keep it, and we will keep this option checked. Other options you should get them all unchecked. As we are here, I will just briefly discuss what these options do. This one in practice does nothing useful because, well, if a plugin is already clean, it does not make a lot of sense to write it because it is clean already. These two things are well explained in detail in the test tool HTM help, which comes with the program, which I really suggest you read, but they are for very particular cases which I usually still have to find, so just keep them, not check it. Then we have this one, restricted dialog cleaning. Well, this one is a little particular. I have seen in the years a lot of modders doing especially dialogue heavy mods, saying that these options can that test tool can ruin the mod. Don't clean your mod with test tool because it will ruin my dialog mod. Well, in my opinion, this is not true. The risky option is this one. This one can cause problems only if the mod already had problems. And believe me, a lot of dialogue modders often do things wrong. Instead of editing a copy of a dialog line, they edit the original. This is easy to do because when you are changing dialog, you can create a new line using new, but more often than not, you just make a copy and then change the copy. What happens sometimes when you write hundreds of lines, instead of changing the new info here, the new line, which is the one by default selected by the construction set, you edit the copy. Oh, sorry, you edit the original one, and that is where problems start creating. So when a quest modder, a dialog modder is saying, "Oh, test tool, I've broken my mods," believe me, 91% reason is they did edit the wrong thing. They did not edit the new edit line, they edited the original one. So when you have several mods trying to change the original one, problems may happen when you clean with test tool. It is very, very rare, but I take it as a suggestion, because if you have these options not enabled and then the mod you cleaned is not working anymore as expected while loading your loading list, well, this means your mod probably was not correct. It means you probably had this problem. You did edit the wrong line, not the new one. And well, I don't want to discuss how you can fix such problems now, because it's another long story, but maybe in the future I will take some mod which have this problem, for instance, and see how we can fix this. It's a little more difficult than just making two clicks and clean the mod. Anyway, this happens, and also with mods that you don't suspect having this problem. So what I'm saying is, in my opinion, you can just keep this thing not clicked, because if this causes problems, it's a way to find the problems. But if you want to be absolutely safe, if you think you are not able to detect the problems and to fix them and so on, well, click this one and you will be safe with any cleaning, possibly breaking dialog in modes that are not doing dialog correctly. So you will have less cleaning, but you will not risk to break these not perfect modes. Restrictive cell cleaning is more or less the same thing, but much less risky, because what happens is some very old modes done probably before the Tribunal and Blood Moon update of the Morrowind engine used to place, for instance, unused dead creatures and NPCs in some interior cells, and when they were no more useful, and these cells were made giving them, you know, some name like garbage, my garbage, and so on. And these cells are empty because they are there only to be a place where to put NPCs when they are no more needed. And what could happen is test will find this empty cell and, well, it deletes it, so the mod will not find that cell anymore and spit one error message. These mods are very, very, very rare. These things can be easily solved just adding one single static in that cell name if you edit the mod. But if you want to be sure this thing never happens, well, click this checkbox. So to cut a long story short, if you don't want any problem, keep these two, any possible problem, keep these two also checked. I don't recommend it because they are rare and they are just hiding possible problems, but you can check these two. And this one doesn't make sense because this is just information which could be of use. Well, this one also, okay. And this one is only good if you are doing something special. It means that when test tool finds something that is already in the Bethesda masters and you are creating the Magic Objects plugin, which is another thing that we will not see today, well, it will just save also these objects even if it's not needed. But for what we are doing now, important options are these options. So my suggestion is keep the first two checked. If you want to be absolutely safe, keep these two also checked, but it's not really needed. Anyway, when you have done this, click done and the execute button to do this command using test tool. Do not click this one button. That's the one and single thing you must pay attention to while using test tool, because this sometimes can cause problems. Okay, because this will try and change all your mods in your loading list. So don't do it. Okay, so clean ASP options we have already set this way. And so we click execute, and we will go and select the mode that we want to clean. So we can look for it, but we can just start writing here, and Windows will show us the list based on what we type. So it's easier to find it, and here it is, the new version, the copy version of the mode we just edited. We select it and click open. Oh, you can select more than one mod in test tool. I could just select while clicking the control key, I can select different modes. While clicking the shift key, I can select all the modes between the different points I'm clicking. So the usual select multiple selection you can have in Windows loading list, and control click to select multiple and shift click to select all in between. Anyway, we are interested just in our curable plus ERC plus Motows copy, this one. So this is the one I will open and clean. And as you can see here, test tool did not find anything else to clean in the mod. It is already clean. But oftentimes test tool will find things that test-free command cannot find, and also the contrary. So I suggest you always clean when you edit a mod, when you make a mod, always clean using these two tools. And one nice thing about test tool is that it's creating a log of everything, and so you can just go and open it in the Morrowind folder. I will sort by date to find it more easily. It is the last one created, probably. And here it is, testtool.log. We'll take a look at it. And as you can see, everything, file name, found a cell that is empty, but there is a change in length, so I will keep it, and so on. And if the test tool is changing something, you will have a message here. So this is very useful. Anyway, we have run our two tools, our cleaning, and we are sure this mod we edited is clean now. So now that we are sure it is clean, it is time to use Mesh to properly update our saved games, so the new version of the mod is not causing problems. And this is very simple to do. You just click the new version of the mod, the one with the copy here, the one we edited in the construction set. Oh, by the way, we can just close the construction set after. I will not save more changes because I just used for doing other examples. I think, not sure about it. I will reload it and take a look if all changes are there before going on. Sorry, I did not pay attention, but it's something that you can always do for your mods. So I will look, open again, and look if the last change to that moved creatures is still there. So the mod is right. So it was called maximal estate, I think. Or I will look for the cell. Oh, hey, I'm not no more it. I will just go there, open my beta command and copy it again the side coordinates and look for them. This is a very fast way to open. Okay, so we are nearby. And the last thing I changed, I think it's a creature position, which was more or less in this cell. I will press the T button to center here. And here it is. As you can see, I already saved everything, so no need to change. I'm sure now that my changes are all there. So we'll go and close the construction set and just show you how to correctly apply to my new mod version the mesh updaters procedure. This is more easily done than explained. You just right click the new mod version, the new one, look for the updaters command, click it. If you have some other mod here defined in the updaters list, you remove it, but usually you have nothing here, so you just add the old version of the mod. I repeat, this is the one thing you have to remember. You right click the new mod and then add to the new mod updaters list the old one. So click the new one, add the old one. So we just look at it as usual, and I must select and add the old version of the mod. That's it. That's the one thing you have to do. Now Mesh is going to have the two versions and to compare them and to remap how the reference is changed. So your save will be able to behave correctly with the new mod version when you are changing it. Okay, so I will repeat it again. Very simple. How can you use Mesh Replacer? Right click the new mod version, updaters, and edit the old version here. Okay. Now Mesh is ready. We can go to our saves and fix the save so it is using the new version. So for instance, I will take my last save here and look for the proper mods which I have changed. And this is why I really suggested you make a copy, and the copy must have the same timestamp. So it's much better to have a copy, also because automatically they have the same timestamp, and the mesh is showing them with a red background. And then when you are looking for the proper mod in your saved, it is much easier to find it because you have a red background here. You could also sort by file name and look for them in alphabetic order, but the single thing that will help you a lot finding the proper mod to change in your game loading list is the red background here. So it's much easier to find the proper mod. When you have the proper mod here in the file list, the master's list used by your save, you just right-click it and select change to the new version of the mod. So as usual, we just write, or we can, faster way is just to remove temporarily the end of the mod, and automatically Windows will filter the two mods that we are editing. So we want to select the new one and replace the old one with the new one. And that's it. Open. So now we are using the copy. And important thing to remember is just one. You must save. Now that you have selected the proper new one, the updated version, you must remember to save here. And Mesh will remap the references, and then you are ready to play with your new mod version. You could just remove the old version and so on and go on playing. But I suggest you not do this if you want to keep the old mod version, the old mod name. You can do it because you may want to have the same loading list. This is not something you must do, but personally I like to do it when I can. So what I suggest you do is just simply get, and I will do the same. If you have several saves with different player, you just do the same thing. For instance, I have this saves list which is using this character as main character, but I have also one old saved which is using another main character, and so I will do just the same here. As you can see, I select the save, right click, change to, and do the same exact thing. I select copy and save it. So I could be down here just to remove the old version from the loading list, but what I want to do is I want the same list I was using before with the updated mod. How can I do it? Well, it's very simple. Remember, now the two mods are the same. Now the two mods are different. What we want to do is have them be the same mod. So we just right click the new version of the mod and file, duplicate, and we will write the new version over the old version. Now we can do it because we already fixed our saves. So now I will just copy over the new version over the old version. So I will make a copy with the same name of the old version. Save. Windows will ask me if I want to really overwrite the mod, which is already there, and I say yes, I'm sure. So now I have copied the new version over the old version. Now they contain the same things. They are both updated. So what it means is, now if I will change this to the old name, what changes for my save? Nothing. They are the exact same file content because I have copied the new version over the old version. So I do not need to select the old version and select replace for, because they have the same file. There's no need it is just a different name, but the content of the file is the same. So I can just go here and change back to the old name, because now the files are identical in content. So here I can change back the name because now file is the same. I will do here and here the two saves that I have changed previously. Okay, so remember to click the save button, and then I have changed this one. I take a look if things are as expected. I have changed this one with another player name. Okay, so same name, but I have copied the new version over the old version, so they are same file, but with the old name I was using previously. And so now these two are the same. I can just remove this one, and my loading list is perfectly okay, as you can see by the color. And this is the procedure I suggest you use every time you must edit a mod and change some references, and every time you update a mod, especially when you are updating a master, like in case of Tamriel rebuild releases, because it's important. If you don't do it this way, well, you have high probability that when you reload your save game, you will have problems. You will have things moved that were not meant to be moved, things deleted which were not meant to be deleted, and so on. That is one of the main features provided by Mesh, and it's not really hard to use, but often people are not reading the Mesh help and not using this thing, and it's a pity because it's a very powerful thing that all modders and expert players should be able to use, in my opinion. Okay, so my voice is going away definitely, and well, that's all for now. So see you next time.